What's good, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new edition of El Boogie and The Bell. El Boogie, how we doing today?
Hey, doing fantastic. We just had NBA All-Star Weekend last weekend. We're gonna go into that a little bit, but I'm here ready to talk these sports, man. New day, new time, same show.
Yes, sir. And speaking of that, we have officially switched our day over to Sunday. We'll try to get it out to the people as soon as possible. We are past the football season, so what better than to record a show on when we wish we were watching football? But anyways, we're actually gonna switch some things up. Football season's over. Let's switch up the order. Let's switch up some things. So we're actually gonna implement our brand new segment, and that is gonna be El Boogie's GM takes. El Boogie is shooting for a general management job in the NFL within the next 10 years, and we're getting him prepared for that. So, he has some decisions to make, and he's gonna give it to us right now. What are we thinking, El Boogie?
All right, so for this week in my GM takes, we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into the Chicago Bears. Everyone is talking about the Chicago Bears. They currently have the number one overall pick in this
Mm.
upcoming NFL draft, and everyone's talking about what they should do with that pick. So I'm going to give y'all my opinion on what they should do with that pick and some overall offseason moves that the Chicago Bears should make. So first off, I'll just go straight into the pick. First overall pick, you can select any player you want. Everyone's thinking, oh, Caleb Williams. We got some other quarterbacks in the draft coming in. Will the Chicago Bears go for a new quarterback, or will they keep Justin Fields? Me personally, what I'd say is you draft a quarterback. You draft a quarterback. Now, who that quarterback is, that depends on what you like. If you like Caleb Williams, go Caleb Williams. There's Drake May, Jaden Daniels from LSU. He's getting a lot of hype too. Personally, I'm taking Caleb Williams first overall. But before I make that pick, I'm gonna try to ship out Justin Fields and see what kind
Mm.
of trade compensation I can get for him. I'm sure there's plenty of teams out there who would be willing to give up a second round pick. That's what I would try to get out of a team, a second round pick in this draft, um, because I think that's kind of the value, especially because a team that brings him in, they're going to have to sign him to a deal essentially. Because I think this upcoming year, it'll be his fourth year, so he only has one more year on the deal. So yeah, you kind of have to sign him to an extension if you trade for him. But I think a team is willing to give up a second round pick uh, for Justin Fields. He's shown his talent. He's shown that he has the capability of being great. But me as the Chicago Bears GM, one, I'm going to start over the contract cycle for the quarterback. Everybody knows once you start paying your quarterback big money, you can't afford all the high talent free agents out there. So I'm starting that clock over. I'm getting a quarterback on a rookie deal who I have time to work with. Um, I'm getting some trade compensation for Justin Fields. And don't forget, the Chicago Bears also have the ninth overall pick as well. Um, so they can go ahead and get Caleb Williams, quarterback, and at the number nine pick, they can get a top end. Um, I don't really think they need O line. They can get another weapon, so a top end wide receiver, or maybe even a top defensive piece like a defensive end or a linebacker. So I think they have. So that's what I would do. I would get Caleb Williams one, wide receiver at nine, trade Justin Fields for a second round pick. Um, and that's what I would do. That's what I would do at least for the draft.
So I got two questions for you, GM L Boogie. The first question is going to be why as a GM are you trying to elect to actually have Justin Fields not make it to the draft as a Bear compared to bringing him into camp if you do draft Caleb Williams or trying to shop him during the summer before the season starts?
The reason why is because you definitely don't want to wait until after the draft because all the teams
Yeah.
that need quarterbacks, they're probably going to draft a quarterback, right? So the market for quarterbacks is as wide open as it's going to be. So that's why you do it before the draft. I mean, you have time. The draft is until April, so you have another month, almost 2 months to kind of work some stuff out. But yeah, I try to make sure on draft day, Justin Fields is on another team. The Bears have a second overall pick, which is just more draft compensation, and I don't know. That's why. You
For
can't
sure.
wait.
GM Boogie. Well, taking him in, you might create more. So you got number one anyway, so you could create like super competitive nature inside that building, knowing that, well, we have this new quarterback, Justin Fields. We're trying to shop you during the summer. You can show what you have, but it might turn him off, and he might be like, well, please get me out of here as soon as possible. I'm not about to just work my tail off for you guys to bench me when I start messing up in the season. And he's not at a point where he's going to be a shadow quarterback. You know, you don't want Caleb Williams shadowing the not so successful career that Justin Fields has started with, which Justin Fields could
Yeah,
still ball.
man.
But question number 2, GM Boogie, is oh wow. Oh dang it, L Boogie, I forgot it. So question number 2 was what, as a GM, what are you proposing to Caleb Williams? Because you could still call these players prior to drafting them. It's call day. You have about a minute speech. What are we saying? What is GM Bell saying to Caleb Williams about his future and how potentially Justin Fields has either been moved or he's about to get moved 10 minutes before the draft, about why you're coming to this program and who would you like to bring on to this program to make you feel like you're in the best position possible based off of the Bears' recent years and history? Tough
What
GM
I would
question.
what I would tell Caleb Williams, I would say you are coming to a franchise that may not have all the historic winning, but we have a great fan base who supports the team. They have a really ride or die fan base, and I'm making moves to put talent around you. We've seen young quarterbacks come into the league and struggle. It's because they don't have the surrounding talent. Caleb Williams, you are not going to have to worry about that if the Bears draft you. You have DJ Moore. They're probably gonna draft a receiver at 9, so you're gonna have two good receiving threats. They have good cap space. I think they have top 5 in cap space, so they're gonna spend money. They're gonna get free agents in, and you're gonna have talent. And the thing is, even though you may think, oh, he's coming in year one, we expect him to be great. We don't need you to be great year one. We need you to you can take this first year and develop. Now, if you have a CJ Stroud type year, that's icing on top of the cake. But if you have a 6-11, a 7-10 year, you may not play great, but you know what you're going to do? You're going to get experience. You're going to grow. Year 2, year 3, that's when we're going to strike. That's when we're going to make moves. That's when you're going to try to make a run at something. So listen, I just tell him I'm thinking the long game. I'm trying to set him up for success, and making sure he's not just another first round quarterback where in 2 or 3 years from now we're all like, oh, that was a big mistake. Let's get off him.
Okay. All right, GM Boogie. Well, that was our first edition of El Boogie GM Takes, GM of the Bears, and it looks like you got things all set out for him. Now, let's see if their actual GM takes some advice from this.
We'll see. There's a lot of different opportunities. Some people are saying keep Justin Fields and draft talent around him. I've seen some people say trade the number 1 pick to get more picks. Kind of like what San Francisco did when
Nah.
they traded up to draft Trey Lance. They gave up 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance. Imagine what you could get for the first overall pick. You could probably get like 3 firsts, some 2s, or 2 firsts and a really good player. So it's kind of like there's options. I think you take Caleb Williams, but there's a lot of
I mean, you're
moves
going
to
to
be
make an
made here.
extremely young team, but you'll have a developing team, if nothing else. So, a whole
Listen,
bunch of guys ready to
there's
enter the
nothing
league
wrong with
on
having
very
a
cheap contracts.
there's nothing wrong with having a young team. We just saw Kansas City go out with a young defense 2 years in a row. They got they
Yeah.
got Chris Jones and a bunch of young guys, and they just won 2 Super Bowls. So if you draft the right people and develop them, hey, you can win.
Hey, fair enough. Alrighty, headed on to segment 2. We're gonna start with our trivia. Or we're gonna move into our trivia. Usually we start with our trivia, new schedule. I will be going first. The Bells trivia. El Boogie, are we ready?
I'm ready, man. Let's do it.
In the year 2022, who scored 16 3-point shots in the NBA All-Star game?
Oh, 2022.
16 3-pointers. Think about who's capable of making 16 3-pointers at any time, which a lot of them are, but it's probably much more of a 3-point name than you that you could believe.
Was it Steph Curry?
You got it.
Oh,
Quick
boom,
and
there we
easy,
go.
easy breezy.
Yeah, I was like,
Steph
there's only so
Curry
many people I
on.
would think to do that, but yeah.
I kind of gave it a little bit away, but yeah, Steph Curry did it versus Team Durant East on February 20th, 2022. 16 3-pointers is absolutely ridiculous. The game's a joke, but I mean, if anybody can make 16 3-pointers when nobody's playing hard, it's Steph Curry.
Hey, he let it fly, man. But that's the guy you let it fly.
Yeah.
You don't say nothing about it. You just say, all right, go ahead, do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
He's not gonna miss it. He's not gonna miss a warm-up 3-point shot in a game.
Right.
All right, El Boogie,
Hey,
give it to me.
smooth. Next, so this past week, Steph Curry just moved into the all-time, or he's 33rd all-time in scoring in NBA history. So my question to you, A. Bell, can you name the top 5 all-time leading scorers in the NBA? But here's the twist: active players only.
So how many are there?
There's a ton. I'm saying that out of all the active players in the NBA, who are the top
Who are the
5
top
scorers?
5 in active?
Who are actively playing right now? So no Kobe,
And
no
Steph's
MJ.
33 out of them?
Steph is 33 all time. So when you count in all the
Oh, okay. Well, Steph
non
Curry right now for sure.
Okay, Steph Curry is number 5 on the list.
Whoo! Let's go LeBron James at number 1.
LeBron James at 1. That's the gimme.
Who scored? So you're saying 4 people who are actively in the league have scored more than Steph Curry?
LeBron James is
and
one.
LeBron's 1.
Yep.
Bizarre. Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant is number 2. He has 28,000 points right now.
Bizarre as hell. Let's do who gets more bucket? Oh, I'm trying to think who's old.
Who gets buckets? Who just scores?
I want Russell Westbrook to be ahead of him so bad. Yes, sir.
He is number 4 on the list. So you're just missing number 3. This guy is he's a bucket. Maybe actually no, he's actually playing really good this season. But in the past he was real lethal.
A walking bucket who's been in the league for more than 15 years.
I don't know if it's been more than 15, but he's been around for a while though, for sure.
Whoa! Can I get a goddamn hint? Russell Westbrook was a shot in the dark.
He's in the West. I'm trying to think of a hint that won't completely give it away.
Because Anthony Davis is still a young bull.
He shoots a lot of free throws. He has made a lot of free throws in his career.
You got to think of the older guys.
Just deadly from 3, deadly from deep, like step back. Just he'll just you know.
Step back? Who's still in the league? I know it's not Kyrie Irving.
No. Western Conference.
Kyrie Irving is not a step back, anyways. I was just trying to think of all the walking buckets who've been in the league for more than 10. Is it a Warrior?
No.
I'm like, there's no way Klay Thompson has scored, especially being out multiple years.
He plays in the West, and he's a guard.
Oh, you're just playing. Oh my God, is it Chris Paul?
Oh no, it's not. It's not.
What is Chris Paul?
Chris Paul is 7 on the list.
Wow.
Think LA. Think LA area, and he's a guard.
James Harden at number 3.
25,500 points.
See, people forget about the years where he really used to do 48 and 8, like consistently. Like that was his thing. Like I scored 38 points. Yeah, that was crazy.
Houston, it was madness.
You gotta think about like the oldest dudes possible. I knew better than say Kawhi because of health and stuff. I'm just like, man, scoring more than Steph Curry over the course of 10 plus years, because Curry's obviously at what, 12, 14 years plus?
I think so, something like that. He's 36 right now, so yeah, he's been in the league.
Come on, man.
Number 6
that was a good one.
Number 6 on the list is kind of surprising. It's DeMar DeRozan.
So average 16 to 22 point scorer. Never really like overly did on the team, but the Raptors were always in the Eastern Conference Finals, so it's like they were always a good team. And if he had really consistent years, that's a sleeper. It's like a sneaky one.
Yeah, but he's been in the league longer though. He's played 150 more games than Steph Curry, so that's like 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's those sleepers in there for sure. Like that.
yeah.
The only thing I could think of, like I was like Udonis Haslem. He played 20 seasons, so he just got people beat on time. But I mean, he retired
Yeah,
now. But just when
just
you have people
retired.
beat on time, that was like the real one with active players. But hey, that was pretty dope. I ain't gonna lie. I'm proud of myself. All right, moving into our topics. I will take topic of the day. Oh, I didn't put my first topic. Okay. Oh, you got topic. Your first topic, El Boogie.
All right, cool. So shifting or staying with the NBA right now, I want to talk to you about Warriors and Lakers. Currently, both teams are not looking too hot. The Warriors are sitting at the ninth seed in the West, and the Lakers are sitting at the 10th seed in the West. Both would be playing teams if the season ended, but they just don't look as dominant as they have in years past. So, are we seeing the end of the Warriors dynasty? And are we seeing the end of LeBron's dominance in the NBA?
Well, first, LeBron's still dominant. I mean, the fact that he took last year's team to the Western Conference Championship, there was a lot of better teams that could be there, but LeBron showed up when it was time. Well, who? Can you tell me who? Austin Reeves? Anthony Davis?
Austin Reeves was hooping though. Like don't he
I
didn't care that
completely agree with you.
Austin Reeves was yeah.
But let's look at the teams that are in the West. Let's look at that LA Clippers team if Kawhi didn't go down. Let's look at the Suns if they did just play them on that side. You know, if the Suns were on the other side of the bracket and met the Lakers first. They didn't have an easy path to it, but, you know, they got 4-0 by the better team, which is the Nuggets. I think we're having the same conversation as last year as this year, and I know that record-wise, they could be worse. Record-wise, they're actually not going to even make this playoffs, but I don't see a humongous difference in team. Of course, they lost a couple pieces that helped them get to that conference championship, but I don't think anything about LeBron has stopped. I just think that he does not have the supporting cast of these teams in the West. Now with Curry, he has the same supporting cast. Now when you have the same or a very similar supporting cast to what you've had, because we're not 3 years removed from a championship for the Warriors. We're only 2 years removed, remember?
True, yeah, you're right.
So being 2 years removed and your roster is constructed the same, but nothing but father time has been implemented, and the only person who hasn't all the way put their foot on the brake is Curry. So I think it's time to make some moves. I think they can explode it. Do I think they will? I don't. And I think it's okay if this is the end of the dynasty, but I don't see them coming into next season with this same constructed roster. And I do think they should make a move, which they can't make a move. How close are we to deadline?
Oh no, we already passed the trade deadline.
Yeah, we've been past deadline. Yeah. So I don't think that they move with the same constructed roster, which they should have made a move. And I know that because All-Star Weekend just happened.
Apparently, they tried to trade for LeBron.
Yeah, that was just for fun. So, you know, not bad. I mean, if the offer makes sense and everything like that, that team for sure is going to the Western Conference Championship. But unfortunately, sometimes you do have to let go of your child. You know, our childhood leaves before us. I'm a huge UFC fan, and for some reason, there'll be like 4 or 5 years from like age 27 to 32. Well, you'll have this dominant UFC champion, Israel Adesanya, Volk, Max Holloway. Like it'll be like this 4 or 5 years, and you just think they're so unbeatable, and there's nothing that could stop this, and they're just faster, better, find ways to win. They fight adversity, and then that next fight, it'll be a knockout, and then it'll be a submission, and it maybe something crazy happened. Like with Usman, it was like, oh man, not to bring a totally different sport up, but at about that 32 or 33 age, we all realize that, you know, all of our favorite fighters fall. And I think that in the NBA, it happens the same. You know, when LeBron retires, whether he retires quietly, Steph Curry retires quietly, the league will go on. I'm in a world where Carmelo Anthony doesn't play no more. That was my favorite player. And I watched Carmelo play for my whole life. He's been playing since I was 5 years old. He is no longer in the league. It happens, man. It happens. So Do I think it's the end for LeBron? No, but do I think it's the end of the Warriors dynasty? Yes.
The thing with LeBron though is that personally, I think LeBron I think LeBron could win another championship. I just don't think it's going to be with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yes.
I think they're in too bad
And
of a
LeBron's
situation.
moved around. He's not in the same position as Curry. Curry's been with the Warriors. LeBron is not a Cavalier. He is not a Miami Heat. He is not a LA Laker. He is LeBron James. Steph Curry is a part of the dynasty in Golden State.
True, but I mean, yeah, that's why I think LeBron would have to leave to win another chip because the Lakers aren't really doing him any favors. They're not. They don't put the right team around him every year. We know that he can't carry a team to a title anymore. That's kind of past it. But he can still be great on another team. But the thing is with him is I think his contract is going to run up soon. Like his contract's going to end. Like I think he has a
Is this
player
year?
option. I think he has
Yeah.
a player option for next year, so he could go somewhere else. But I think he likes LA too much. So it's kind of like, do you give up, the LA life for a couple more years and a chance at another title, or do you just stay a Laker? You're already a guarantee. You've already done everything, and at least this way, he can stay home and watch his son play, in town and stuff. So there's some appealing parts to staying in LA, but I don't think LeBron's winning another chip if he stays on the Lakers. And
And
then
there's
with
something else that happens when you're such a dominant force in the league. When you're a dominant force in the league, you do call the shots. So it's like, I don't know where his other son Bryce is in his high school career, but maybe he wants him to finish out in LA. Maybe you don't want to do all that moving. Maybe you don't want to have to move back to the East while your family stays in the West, and you generally do like living in LA. Whatever hills they live in, I mean, it's kind of hard to wake up for a fight, to train for a fight if you sleeping in silk sheets. I think Roy Jones said that, but it's hard. So, if he's more comfortable in LA, I don't see him making any huge move. But he's the GM as well. If he wants to blow up that squad, he's done it before and he'll do it again.
I don't really, but the only issue is when they did it the first time, all they did was get rid of a bunch of young rookies. That's all they did. Just get rid of a bunch of young people you didn't want, and you brought in a bunch
Yeah,
of experienced veterans. They can't do that. They're like all veterans, and they all signed deals, like long deals. Like I don't see a way out for the Lakers or LeBron unless he leaves. Um, and the Warriors are cooked, man.
yeah, it's over.
Steph is great. Steph is great, but everybody else is cooked. Clay has been benched. Like Clay Thompson is coming off the bench, which is really sad to see. Draymond, we all know what's been going on with him this season, and when he's on the court, not great. They got Chris Paul, which is like was one of the big like free agency things last summer, and now nobody's talking about it because he hasn't been playing. One he got hurt, and two, even when he was playing, he wasn't working, So I don't think the Warriors really have other than Curry. So they go as far as Curry can carry them. That's kind of how I see it. But I think the Warriors are cooked. They're kind of done, which is unfortunate because Curry's not going to want to leave. He's going to want to stay there for
No,
another.
for sure. And I don't know how it is rebuilding with somebody. So it's like if LeBron stood a Cavalier till this very, very day, we have no. So 40 years old. Think about that. If he stood a Cavalier until the age of 40, we have no idea what it's like because they wouldn't have a Donovan Mitchell. They would have a roster constructed for LeBron James. They would have a couple rookies and they would have a team constructed for that man who's been there for 40 years. Like not 40 years, but for 20 years. So I just
Right.
I don't know what it's like to play with a brand new team. I mean, he's going to be old enough to be these dudes' dads at one point. So you talk 38, 30. No, really, like 38,
No,
39. Like I'm
yeah,
19 years older and you guys are drafting these guys and I got to lead them. So it's different when you get constructed into a team, but when you've been in the same building, same facility, same security
yeah.
guards, same coach, same towel girl, you outlived and outworked a lot of people inside the building. I just think it's going to be weird to see a team without Clay, a team without what's it called? Draymond. I mean, Gary Payton's been there a couple of years. You saw what happened to old boy who's in what's it called?
Oh, Jordan Poole. Oh my God,
Jordan Poole's gone.
they need to do a study on what happened to Jordan Poole because he was looking like one of the next great players, and now he's on the bench for the Wizards. The
Man,
Wizards. They put him on the bench. They said like his contract is one of the worst contracts in the NBA right now because he's making $40 million a year to come off
to
the
sit on the
bench.
bench.
That is
Hey,
crazy.
I don't know. It's tough, man. So I hate to see our idols turn into elders. But
Yeah,
it's a
that
part of life, man. I mean, if our show makes it big and we get huge, there might be an AI bot that comes about 15 years down the road and says, "Hey, everything's automated. You guys got to entertain robots, no more humans," and we'll just have to throw in our towel. We had a good run.
right. Yeah, it is crazy. There was actually a clip, I think it was last season, where a dude who was playing, like the Lakers were playing a team, and one of the dudes on the other team came up to LeBron and was like, "Hey, yo, I don't mean to make you feel old or nothing, but you played my dad."
Dang.
It's just like, dang, for real, like.
See,
he's that
Melo leaving
he's
was
that
huge
old.
for me. Like I always kept hope alive. Like when Melo went to the Lakers, I'm like, okay, this is our last chance at a championship. Saw how that went. When he went to OKC, I was like, they're not gonna win a championship, but they're gonna make a deep playoff run. See how that went. But anyways, like when Melo retired, I was thinking like, oh, I am 25. I was 5. I am 25, and it's like it's just crazy. So yep, man, we love them to the day, but if their team's not out there competing for championships, I mean, sometimes times just pass on.
Yeah.
But anything closing on it?
Nah, they've done it all. They've done it all, so it's okay.
Staying on the same kind of mood, we're talking what should be done about All-Star Weekend. You could talk about a couple of highlights from All-Star Weekend, talk about the things that you're completely not interested in no more, talk about the past and what you do remember, and maybe something brand new that All-Star can do to shake it up and make it more entertaining.
So first, I'll talk about the few things that I did like from this year. So one, I did like the 3-point contest. I felt like they actually tried this year, but I did like the update where they put in Curry versus. I just looked up her name, and I'm probably gonna butcher her last name, but Sabrina Ionescu, I think maybe. But that 3-point contest was actually really cool. I did like to see that. And I think it just kind of gave the WNBA like a little bit of light, like, hey, they're talented over there too, because it's not like Curry beat her by a lot. He won by like 2 or 3 points. So that was a cool update that I liked that they did this year. The dunk contest was super underwhelming. It's like I don't know what it is about the dunk contest. I feel like players just don't care because it doesn't really feel like they're trying. Like Jalen Brown was in it, and he jumped over Kai Sanat, who was like 5'4", and did a dunk. Like
One
that's
and a
not.
half sitting down.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can't dunk a basketball, but for an NBA
Yeah.
player who has the athletic ability and it's your job, that's not impressive. We've seen so much better in years past. So I almost think I don't know what it is. Like you kind of have to get people who want to be there and want to actually give it their all. And then for the game, I don't even know what to do about the game, dude. Because it's just. I mean, I think they had a record high point total this year, so
I don't
it's
think
just
I've ever seen
players
200 in my life.
200. That's 2K numbers. That's 2K on
For
rookie
sure.
numbers. Like
Game
that's
sliders on.
crazy. Exactly, game sliders. But yeah, I don't know what to do with that. I mean, I think you gotta find a way to get the players to care, which I don't know how you do that other than giving them financial incentives. So kind of what they did with the play-in tournament and how the winning team got like $500,000, something like that. I think if you give them like some financial incentive, that might get them to play more. Um, that's all I can think of, honestly, to make the game better. Just pay $500,000, $1 million to the winning team, whatever. Um, and I think if you make them want to be there and want to play and want to compete, that's just going to make the product more better, and people are just better, and people will want to tune in.
For sure. I think first and foremost, so what I liked from this year is I love the implementation. So what I think the NFL really got right was the implementation. Well, it was Vegas too, so it's like, man, what a like a perfect way. What was All Star Weekend this weekend? Last weekend?
Yeah, it was last. It was in Indianapolis.
Okay, well, so Vegas just brought out everybody and everything, and I think that's where they had the Pro Bowl and everything like that, right? It was the week before. I think it
Correct.
was. Yeah. So what was cool was I like how they implemented the streamers. I follow along those streamer lines, so it was like really cool to see the Kai Sinets and all the AMG dudes, Drewski and all of them have that flag football game. So I
Hmm.
do like about the NBA All Star Weekend is how they implemented, your new age Kai Sinets and people going viral over the year. Micah Parsons would look like a the biggest NBA point guard ever to exist, going absolutely nuts. But I actually didn't see the events. I didn't see it. I wasn't paying attention to it. We have officially transitioned into our NBA season of El Boogie and The Bell, and nothing about All-Star Weekend caught my eye besides people talking about how there needs to be a change. Watching ESPN on Monday morning, like, this was pitiful. We should get rid of the dunk contest and this and that. Now, taking moments from the past, nothing will ever be Aaron Gordon versus Zach LaVine. That was here. That was my number one in my lifetime. And I remember watching Dwight Howard literally throw the ball as hard as he can inside of it when he did the Superman one. That was a good one too. But I'll never forget Zach LaVine versus
Aaron
what's it called?
Gordon.
Aaron Gordon. That was like, it's hard to beat that. Like, it's so hard to beat that. It's so hard to beat that everybody has literally quit on it. You know, and they did. Aaron Gordon is so dirty. He's like, I'll never go back to that. Because then he got done inside the 3-point contest the next year, right?
I think
Um,
so, but yeah, no, that was peak. We didn't even know it was peak, but that was peak.
See, and I'm not against like a G League or Drew League or all these people having like their own and them being able to get signed to a NBA team to do the most spectacular dunks ever in the world, because that's pretty cool. Like, I might not be good enough to play in the league, but I've always been a spectacular dunker, and who doesn't want the opportunity to say, "Well, I played for the Magic for a day. I played for the Nuggets for one day." And I made the most out of it, and I brought a trophy back home to that. And maybe you could do like home city or like close city. That's the only way they save that, because the creativity is not there. It's just not there. Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine set the bar so high that it's just not there. Like,
Bro,
they did some
it's
crazy stuff
impossible to
out
beat
there.
that one. Homie was sitting on the ball in the air and dunked. Like, how do you like? What?
Yeah, that was
That's
crazy. See, the crazy one was when he was spinning on the little thing, and
mm,
he did some crazy stuff. And I was like, yeah, this is the coldest one. That was the coldest one I've ever watched all the way through. I didn't watch nothing this weekend. And as far as the All Star game, it just has to be an incentive. Like, who wouldn't want to see the best players play at 80% against each other? The best players of all time. Like, I want to see somebody really try to score the basket. Now, dying to score the basket, like as an NBA championship, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see players playing 95%. But I would love to see players play at 80% and the score end up being 122 to 133. So that's all they need, 80%. 80%. I don't know how you manage it, because I've done martial arts and I was also a lineman, and it's kind of hard to just do 80% where you have to play such physical sports. So I don't know what that looks like for basketball, but you got guys who play pretty hard in the Drew League, you got guys who play pretty hard in the summer. I mean, they're going hard during practice in the off season, and I mean, when you're practicing during the season, you're literally trying to make a spot. You're fighting for your career, your job. So I'm assuming that they go 90% in practice, 90 to 110, practice harder than you play. But I think a fair 80% would be good, just to try it for 1 year. If somebody gets hurt, let's just blow it up, or let's do the 300 points game. If not, let's do 80%. 80% sounds about right. Right now we're at about 10. It takes about 5% to tie your shoe.
right. I think it almost might be fun if they'd made it like, I don't know, they put in like some goofy kind of part to it. Like, all right, all the people who are really good at shooting threes, like Curry, Dame, whatever, all you can do is layups and dunks during the game. Like I don't know if they put some fun stipulation like that. Like big men, you have to shoot you only jump shots for big men. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
See,
That
I
might
would
make it
really
a little
like a big
fun.
three league. I think a big three league would be cool. It's just not possible, but you do the bottom three, and then you'll have the small forward play the point. And so, like, first quarter is the bottom three, and then they have two subs. Second quarter is the top two, so like a point guard versus shooting guard 2-on-2, and then make like a big three court, and then just play like that, and then just do that for 4 quarters. I think that'd be pretty dope.
That actually, I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, and it'll make
Like
them play harder
every
because nobody wants to get done. Like nobody wants to get done playing in 3-on-3 half court because it's like this is way more intense. Like we don't have time to just sag off. Like you're gonna
right,
play up, or else he's just gonna shoot it in front of your face over and over and over again. So you're like, okay, let me play some defense.
and the quarters would be unique too. So it wouldn't just be the
For
same
sure.
people. It'd be every quarter would be a different matchup. So I kind of like
You,
that. That's not a bad idea.
you stay warm on the side. Your guards are staying warm while they're getting ready. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then you like switch them out, so you literally are switching out. So that it'd be a dope one to me. 2-on-2 and 3-on-3, big and small.
Do you like that they went back to the East-West format this year, or did you like it better when it was the players drafting the teams?
I like the East West. So I don't want to say I grew up in like a golden era, but I was a child, so it was very special to me. And I just don't know if the kids of today are like, it's All-Star weekend. Like you remember, like you would play an All-Star game on 2K, like 2K9. You would just play the All-Star game because the All-Star game was actually cool, right? To have everybody on your team was cool. We used to do like mock drafts and just put everybody good on your team. Nowadays, I don't know if that's what the kids are doing. So I remember East versus West. I remember Shaq walking out with the what's it called, with the Jabberwockies mask. Like I remember like the days, but that's just my time. So I remember being excited. I remember Carmelo Anthony was like mad that he didn't make the game-winning shot with East versus West the year that they lost to the Lakers in the conference finals. And he was like, damn, I could have made it because he would have had 30 points and he would have won for the West and he would have got his first All-Star weekend MVP. So I remember those type of times. Now, no, they weren't playing their hearts out, but I remember it was at least something that was like fun. The weekend was fun. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like they just cared more. Just exactly what you said. Like Melo was upset that he didn't make the game-winning shot, and he didn't. Like they actually cared. It meant like there was some significance with the All-Star game, and now this next generation of players, they just don't care. Even what's his name, Anthony Edwards. I think this was his one of I don't know if it was his first time at an All-Star game or playing in one, but he essentially did like an interview and said he didn't really care that much about it. So
I mean, it's natural. There are things that are too cool for school. Like we have things in our life where it's like our parents thought it was cool, and to us it was like, nah, that's what y'all thought were cool. We're already past that,
Yeah, I don't know. So maybe in a couple years, maybe they get rid of the All-Star game for something else.
Yeah, I mean, I like the flag football aspect for the NFL. I think the NFL is getting it right. So maybe it takes a little bit of blowing up. Like, you didn't feel like social media wise, TV wise, the NFL did really good, but they had a really good opportunity with Vegas.
They did. I think they did I think they did a great job of making the changes they needed to. This year, the flag football, it was a good touch, especially because nobody wanted to watch them play patty cake and pads. Like if they're gonna do that, they might as well play flag football. And oh look, that was a success, in my eyes at least.
The skills challenge, I thought everybody looked like they were having fun. I didn't feel the fun of All-Star Weekend. I'm sure it was lit. I'm sure them clubs were popping. I'm sure a couple people got robbed. I'm sure everything.
The thing is,
I just didn't feel it.
Indianapolis too. Indianapolis versus
and
Vegas.
and yeah, that's why I'm like, I still gotta give them a little bit of credit, but
it could also be too that the NFL All-Star or the Pro Bowl it's after the season versus NBA it's in season, so I feel like that also plays a factor.
You might be up to something.
I'll just move it to after
end of
the
season All-Star game, because
cool.
we're in a stage right now with the NBA. This is a last great take. we're in the stage of an NBA where they're starting to make players play. There's no more sitting out. Let's make the games more meaningful. How about your all-star selection is judged off of your longevity through the season? That's a whole nother aspect, and that might solve the problem of players are sitting out. And it'll get more of the people, hey, hey, after the season, and then whoever makes it to the finals, they don't go to the All-Star weekend. They focus on the finals. It gives you like a space in between that.
Oh, so they would give them like a week break, like the NFL
Yep, they'll
does,
give
or
them their
something like.
credit. Thank you for being the All-Star, but we're gonna let you focus on winning a championship, which those guys should be focused on. And the guys who balled out all season, but unfortunately their teams weren't good enough, they get to go show their skill sets at All-Star weekend, a week or two before the playoffs, and then everybody else is resting and getting ready for the summer training.
I don't dislike it. I think it would be a. I think the NBA has nothing to lose if they thought about making this change. Like, I
Not at
think it
all.
might be cool. It might be cool.
Yeah, give it about 7 days before you start the finals, and get those guys well rested and well in shape
Hmm.
before the finals. That'd be lit. But I think that about wraps us up for the week. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of El Boogie and The Bell. El Boogie, take us out.
Hey, another week, another great show. Thank y'all for tuning in. Follow us on TikTok, El Boogie and the Bell. Check us out on YouTube. Watch the videos. Like, comment. We always try to get back to people who comment. Subscribe to the YouTube, and keep tuning in. We're here. We're gonna record on Sundays. Get the content out to y'all, and yeah. Until next time.
Till then, peace.